The Weekend Update. The Weekend Update. Your weekly recap of news, current events, and trending stories. Let's do this. The Weekend Update with your host, Nate Armbruster.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Weekend Update. I'm not even going to look at what number episode this is because I forgot, okay? So how's everyone? Oh my goodness. We're off to a good start, aren't we? First of all, I'm late again, so sorry. At this point in the podcast, I think you can just assume it'll be here eventually, okay? Sorry for, I know all the loyal listeners out there, are a little frustrated. However, it's been a long couple weeks, all right? But it's been a fun couple weeks. A lot of goods happened, okay? If you'll notice, so today, if you're listening to this the day this episode came out, you'll notice there's 2 episodes out in one day, but they're backdated. So just so I'm, this way, if someone new comes along and sees my podcast and they go, oh, this guy's always on time, it's like a little trick I'm going to do. So if you go back and listen to the episode right before this, you'll hear me talk about, in particular, the special. So that came out a couple weeks ago on YouTube, right? And it's doing much better than I thought it was going to do. Now, you have to understand something. I'm some nobody stand-up comedian just doing his thing. So when I put this thing together and I threw it up on YouTube, I was like, maybe I'll get a couple hundred viewers. And if I'm lucky, maybe a couple thousand. That'd be fun. But we're sitting at the moment of this recording, it's sitting around 27,000. And it's starting to slow down, and that's fine. I'll take it. This is the thing when you do something creative like this. It's like, you kind of put it out on the internet, and it could go really good or really bad. Like people could really hate you, which there were enough of those comments. As I covered in the last episode, I kind of thoroughly went through one particular comment, which I thought was funny. But no, I'm very happy with the response it's gotten. Most of it's been positive. I've got a bunch of new YouTube subscribers. Hopefully they go check out the podcast. But yeah, so, things are on the up and up, I guess you could say. If you haven't watched it yet, please go to YouTube and check it out. For the most fun, you can throw it up on your, your Apple TV or whatever and watch it and pretend like it's on Netflix. It's the same thing at this point, right? So anyway, if you're wondering why I'm late again, it's because I just got back from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you've never been, it's actually, it's growing on me. And the more I go back, the more fun I have, the more I want to stay. It's kind of nice. It feels like an affordable beach town, it's very touristy. First of all, nobody who lives there is from there. It's hilarious. It's like a TV show. Like, yep, everybody came down from New York. They didn't want to go. They couldn't make it all the way to Florida, so they're like, what, screw it. I'll stay in Myrtle Beach. And then they have kids, and then those poor kids have to grow up in Myrtle Beach. However, it's a great town. Like I said, it's growing on me, and there's a great comedy club down there called the Comedy Cabana. Okay, they've been open for decades, and the greatest people run it. It's so much fun every time I go. But the thing about it is, because it's a touristy town, you get a touristy audience, maybe people who don't know, maybe a little older. So you get a goofy mix of audience members, and that's why I like it so much, because you get people from all over the country who happen to be there on vacation, and they just ended up at the comedy club. That wasn't necessarily, nobody was there to see me. You know what I mean? It's just, I was the guy that was there that week, So I think it's a good test of your material. So any chance I get to go do this place, I do it because I feel like I get a really good chance to work out some stuff. And the other thing that's unique about this club, it's a long week. It's a Tuesday through Saturday gig. You're there, Tuesday through Saturday. You do one show every night with 2 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. That's like, we did like 7 shows. And I booked the gig somewhat last minute, I guess. Okay. And when I say last minute, I mean like maybe less than a month prior to the show. So, typically I would fly down there just because it's just so much easier and faster. My personal rule is if the gig is 12 or more hours drive, maybe 8. The older I get, the more I want to change my personal rule. But if it's 8 or more, let's go with 8 for this particular story. Let's say if it's more than 8, I fly, because I can drive 8 hours with my eyes closed. That's no problem. But once it gets longer than that, it starts to really get tough. So I booked this a little somewhat last minute, and all the flights were ungodly expensive. Not worth it at all. And then the other thing is, once you get there, you got no car. And if you want to rent a car, it's going to be an extra few $100. And then it's like, we're losing money here, So I was like, well, rather than that, how about this time I'll just drive down there? Just because I've never done that anyway. I was like, this will be fine. It's a 14-hour drive, which is doable, but it's, I broke it up into 2 days. I left Monday morning, got there Tuesday night, and that worked just fine. But the drive home, okay, and this is where I'm getting crazy, okay? The drive home is 14 hours straight through. And I was like, I just want to get home, right? And I'm a man who loves his Sundays. I need a day off, okay? Before I go back to normal stuff on Monday, I need like a real day off, okay? And that's usually Sunday. And I usually spend it, not doing anything. That's my favorite thing. I don't want to spend it driving. So the dilemma I have, right, is the whole week I'm trying to decide when I'm going to leave to go home. And everything inside of me I want to leave Saturday after the shows, right? Late shows at 9:30. So I got on the road. I ended up driving straight through. This is partly why this episode is late and I'm double behind, okay? Because the drive, and this is why I want to move the podcast to a different day. But the drive, I leave Saturday night after my show. So I'm on the road by 10 o'clock or something like that. Eastern time. And I'm driving to the central time zone on daylight savings time. So this is the worst possible day to do this, because you gain an hour, but you lost it anyway. So it's like, it was frustrating. But the thing is, it's a 14-hour drive, and I'm going to be up. If I stay, I was like, maybe I could stay, get some sleep, and just get up early and still get home at the same time as I would have, But I was like, no, if I stay here, I'm just going to end up being up till 2 or 3 in the morning, right? Just messing around, and and then it's going to be a long drive home. So I was like, you know what? I'll just drive. If I can get at least 8 hours in tonight, I can pull over if I need to and get home. And you know what, folks? I got home and it took 14 hours nonstop, right? But with stops, because for this long one, normally I'm a stop for gas only kind of guy. But, middle of the night, you got to keep yourself awake. So I pulled over maybe every couple of hours just to walk around a brightly lit gas station. And the amount of, I love a Love's travel stop. Okay. It's like a glamorous truck stop. It's a trucker's dream. And the amount of, in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky and Tennessee, the amount of gas station attendants who just saw me just, hopped up on coffee and Adderall, just walking around their gas station at 3 a.m. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I look like the crazy guy right now that just burst into the gas station. I don't know, I just need to look at some stuff. Just going to walk around all these aisles and look totally suspicious. But that's what I did. I drove 14 hours through the night nonstop. And, I made it home by 4 p.m. Sunday, just in time for the Oscars, which I don't know. I mean, I'm someone, I think I've talked about this before, but I'm someone who I will watch all the award shows. I know they're dumb and self-congratulatory and stupid, but first of all, something funny always happens. And I think it's entertaining, but I know people love to shit on it. But I think that take now is a hacky opinion. Have a better opinion than, the award shows. I hate that. Because that's as annoying as the award show themselves. It's have a more interesting take than people love to hate on it, and it's totally fine. I'm all about it. Those people's lives are great, right? They're all just jerking each other off, oh, I made a movie, and which is cool. It is cool. I'll give them that. I love movies, but it's like, calm down about yourself, okay? You're not that brave. I just don't think like anybody. Not anybody can make a movie, but I think this whole. I just don't think it's as big of a deal, or it shouldn't be as big of a deal as it is. However, I got home in time to watch it, so I watched them, and I watched maybe 3 minutes of them and fell right asleep because I was so exhausted. And I think I'm just now getting caught up. Like I've been kind of like everything's been a little off this week, thanks to daylight savings time or saving time. That's another thing. I hope if there's one thing I learned this week, it's daylight saving time. That's the correct term. It's not savings, even though we all say savings. And you know who I hate more than someone who just hates on the Oscars because they have no better take on it? Is people who correct people who go, it's daylight saving time. And well, aren't you smart? Aren't you just bright as ever? You're the smartest person in the room. Like, is this your biggest concern, right? Have I been saying, like, you say it like we're stupid. I don't think I've never noticed this until this year. So, no one brought it up to me until this year. By the way, I think I don't even know if there's a right context for correcting someone, because I think we're all stupid on some level, right? We have to be. I definitely am. And I feel like if you can't admit it, like we all think we know, right? We all think we know something. And sure, there's smart people, but there's something about like when you correct somebody, I feel like, no, you should do it in a way that doesn't, insult the other person. It's like, first of all, it's just daylight savings time. Happens once a year. And, if we're lucky, never again. But, you don't have to be a dick about it, okay? We're talking about setting the clocks forward, okay? You're not saving the world by correcting me and telling me that, it's daylight saving time, all right? Oh, here's the other thing about driving to Myrtle Beach, all right? Drive there 14 hours in my 2006 Honda Civic, okay? And it runs great. Knock on wood. Every time I say this, I got to do the knock on wood thing because I was like, this will be the farthest I've ever driven this car, and I don't want to ruin it. But it made it, and it ran great the whole trip. And I was like, while I'm down here, I better get an oil change, right? I've been going to Jiffy Lube. This is my favorite oil change spot, okay? They do a good job over there. However, they can chill out a little bit, okay? If you go to one of these oil change spots, and I mean, dude, they come running out like spiders, like roaches out, when you just turn the light on, okay? It's like, whoa, guys, all right, I just need an oil change. And this guy's like, what do you need? What do you want? And I'm like, just need an oil change, And he notices my sticker in the windshield, right? So he goes, can I have your sticker? And so I take it off and I like ball it up. I thought he was going to like throw it away for me. And this poor guy, he takes it from me and it's just like it looks like a wad of gum. And he just starts opening it up and I go, oh, I didn't know you needed to read that, And I realize he's trying to look at, when I'm due for an oil change. And then he goes, wow, you're pretty early. And I go, yeah, but it's an old car. I just want it to, I got a long drive. So I just want to make sure everything's running good. If, nice oil change or whatever. But so they actually denied my oil change. Can you believe that? I didn't know this was a thing. I was like, the thing is, I think they just don't want to waste the good oil. They didn't really tell me like a specific reason other than like, you don't need one. And I was like, that's fine. I guess I don't need to spend $50 or whatever it is. But I go, hey, while I'm here, why don't you top off the fluids? And he did. He did for free. And they did the air in my tire. It's so funny, but I'm not kidding. There were like 5 people surrounding my car, and they wouldn't even let me pull in the garage. They did it all outside while I'm blocking. It was so weird. I don't understand how they're very aggressive at these oil change spots. All right, so what do you say we get to the only story I want to talk about this week, and that is that this guy is suing Buffalo Wild Wings, claiming that their boneless wings are not technically wings. So they've been lying to us this whole time. All of their marketing, everything. So you know what that means? Now they owe us money. All right, and I'm glad someone finally said it. So here's the latest on the class action lawsuit filed against Buffalo Wild Wings for allegedly engaging in deceptive business practices. According to the plaintiff, the popular chicken chain is misleading its customers with its, quote, boneless wings menu item. So the plaintiff is alleging that Buffalo Wild Wings is engaging in false and deceptive marketing practices by claiming that their boneless wings are made from chicken wings. Instead, the plaintiff claims that they're actually slices of chicken breast meat deep fried like wings and more akin to chicken nuggets than chicken wings. Okay. So has anyone ever not noticed this though? Like, it was just like a problem that nobody has had? Because like, I feel like the boneless versus bone-in wing debate is kind of a sensitive topic for some people. And I'm all for it. Like, if you want to just call them nuggets, that's fine with me. But if I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I usually get boneless, and I find them better. But don't get me wrong, I'm all in on the bone-in wing. But I kind of wish I had just been the person to sue Buffalo Wild Wings, because this is how you get podcast listeners. I should have sued the hell out of Buffalo Wild Wings for this. I'm on the boneless side too. Like, I've spent so much money on boneless wings. And the fact that I'm calling them boneless wings, people will always be like, they're not wings, like it as if it was somehow less noble to order. I mean, it's chicken, right? I mean, I don't know. If you're a real like wing snob, I don't think you go to Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what I mean? Like a big old chain restaurant. So he claims that he had known that the products were not actually chicken wings. He would have paid less for them or not purchase them at all. And now you're just sounding like an idiot. Okay, now you got to like come up with now you got to build a case against. It's like, come on. Okay, you had no idea, huh? Like, you think they really took the bone out of the wing and deep fried it and it came out to the perfect shape that it does every time? I mean, come on. How stupid are you? The lawsuit aims to represent thousands of customers who have been affected by Buffalo Wild Wings' deceptive marketing practices. I love that in the United States, this is a real litigation. You know what I mean? This is a real legal situation going on. This is what we use our court system for. Some people in the world are trying to just fight, just for like just clean air and water and just survival. And like, we're over here like, I don't think those are technically wings. If we want to get technical, The defendants named in the suit include Buffalo Wild Wings and the parent company Inspire Brands, which, when reached for a comment, a rep for both companies directed the public to a tweet by the official Buffalo Wild Wings Twitter account, which stated that their boneless wings are all white meat chicken. Okay, when B-dubs, and this is the thing, is like, I call it B-dubs. This is the nickname, right? This is turning into some Twitter drama, Like, when you get the company tweeting about it, that means that they've heard you loud and clear. And honestly, I think this is just going to help Buffalo Wild Wings. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo Wild Wings hired this man to sue them just for the press, because it's not like it's gross. You know what I mean? They're not getting sued for like serving raw chicken. It's not something like sketchy. It's just like, oh yeah, they've been calling them wings when they're not. So it's not something that's going to stop me from going there, I guess, So the lawsuit argues that Buffalo Wild Wings should change the name of its boneless wings to boneless chicken, or disclose on its menu that the products are actually made of chicken breast meat. The plaintiff alleges that other companies such as Domino's Pizza and Papa John's sell comparable products without using the wings moniker. Okay, yeah. So now we're dragging other names through the mud here. However, they were smart. They just call it boneless chicken. Also, you see these like corporate chain restaurants, the menus, there's always fine print down at the bottom, and it says like, don't eat raw, don't eat raw meat or whatever. This is why they have to put this shit on the menu. So this means somewhere after this, there's just in small font on every Buffalo Wild Wings menu, it's going to say not technically wings. And that means they're going to have to reprint all of the menus. It's going to be a whole thing. I think this might put them under. So the lawsuit seeks damages, including injunctive relief, restitution, declaratory relief, and all other remedies the courts deem appropriate. Although it does not state an exact monetary amount, this is not the first time that boneless wings have come under scrutiny. In February of this year, Ted Anthony of the Associated Press called boneless wings a culinary lie, and in an impassioned article. And in September of 2020, a citizen of Lincoln, Nebraska, made an impassioned speech on the subject during a Lincoln City Council meeting. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but check this out.
I promise I won't take up too much of your time here. My name is Andrew Christensen. I live at 1212 Twin Ridge Road. Lincoln has the opportunity to be a social leader in this country. We have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children are throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Sure.
come on. I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. These are our reasons why. Number one, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing. Number two, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number three, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash. We can take these steps and show the country that where we stand, and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long, and we know it because we feel it in our bones.
Thank you. Okay, hold it down, please.
I would like to just comment here. For the record, that's my son.
That's why you're
So there you have it, folks. As it turns out, I guess boneless wings aren't wings. So I'm sorry if you're hearing this and you're devastated, but I guess that's the way it is. And so that was a real speech this guy gave in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I think it's hilarious that that's what what we're using our public resources for. But that's what it is. It's like straight out of a Parks and Rec episode. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the show, hit subscribe on whatever app you're listening on. Go check out my special. There'll be a link in the show description if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I suggest you do so. And if you enjoy it, tell somebody. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom, tell whoever you want. And honestly, and this is what I've been telling people, if you can go check out anything I've made, give it a listen, hit play. You don't even have to listen to it. You can put it on mute. It still counts as a download, so I'll take it. All right. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week, possibly. Okay, I feel like a fraud saying that. I feel like I'm gonna get sued by the guy suing Buffalo Wild Wings for telling you that I'll be back next week, and in case I'm not, but I'll be back. I'll be back soon with another episode of Weekend Update.
You've been listening to the Weekend Update with Nate Armbruster, and you liked it, didn't you? If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Weekend Update.